We've always relied on certain truths. The sun rising in the east, winter turning into spring, and salmon always swimming upstream. In the Columbia River basin of the Pacific Northwest, every stream and tributary once teemed with salmon.
They would come in such great numbers that they changed the chemistry of the water.
There were major salmon runs 12 months out of the year. It was a never-ending highway of salmon.
But now, salmon are fish out of water. Incubated in plastic bags, they embark on the strangest of journeys, migrating up an impossible gauntlet of our making.
There was this belief that hatcheries were a way to have our cake and eat it too.
Hatcheries have become the surrogates for the river, and it's not working.
Salmon are in trouble. If this creature is removed from the tapestry will unravel.
Where do we go from here? High in the central Idaho mountains, one of nature's great travelers has come home. After years at sea, this sockeye salmon fought its way up 3 river systems to reach these spawning grounds before it dies. An Idaho sockeye's final journey is one of the most grueling faced by any spawning fish. 900 miles inland, over 6,000 feet in elevation. Exhausted and just short of their life's destination, they are scooped from the river, weighed and measured, and taken for a ride. "140 miles to a warehouse outside Boise, Idaho, where they are gathered with others of their kind, remnants of a population teetering on the brink of extinction. Between 1985 and 2007, an average of only 18 sockeye returned to Idaho each year. Fisheries biologists now carefully control the reproduction of what was once an icon of abundance. Instead of spawning naturally, each new generation begins life in an incubator of plastic bags and PVC piping. These are not farm-raised salmon on menus everywhere. A year from now, they will be released to the river and the ocean, where they'll live like fish born in the wild. But when they return to the Columbia, their heroic climb will bring them here. Across the Pacific Northwest, fish hatcheries have become surrogates for rivers and streams, incubating all 6 species of salmon, including Idaho's endangered sockeye. Protecting salmon has come to mean producing them. More than 100 million are released into the Columbia and its tributaries each year. Yet clearly something's not working. Many Columbia Basin salmon populations are already extinct, and 13 more are listed as endangered or threatened. From one perspective, Hatcheries are evidence of our willingness and capacity to help an animal in trouble. From another, they're evidence of just how much trouble this animal is in. Over millennia, the annual migration of tens of millions of salmon became a defining event for all manner of life in the Pacific Northwest. Now, it's their absence that's shaping the region. The story of salmon is the story of a creature at once resilient and fragile, manipulated and wild. It's one of the nature stories of our time. Like many Northwesterners, novelist David James Duncan's bond with salmon runs so deep it defines home.
I was moving down through the creek bed, disobeying every rule my grandma had set down for me, and there was a log cantilevered out over a deep pool. And I had no idea what I'd find, but I just felt like I gotta go lie on this log. 6 years old. So I'm lying on the log, and this big old hook-jawed male coho comes up. It's green and red. It's got this glaring, unblinking eye. It's just looking right into the heart of me. And to me, that became like a compass. Like, I want to live where these guys live. I want to be in the presence of this mysterious creature.
Don't forget that little one that's long in front of the drum there.
Sud Soderstrom lives hundreds of miles downstream from David Duncan. Salmon figure prominently in his idea of home, too.
The Pacific Northwest is salmon. It's the history of this area. You wouldn't believe how many livelihoods this has supported, just this one little station. And there used to be fish stations all up and down the river. And they're like, each one was like a little community. My family's been doing it since 1872. I have a son and some grandsons that like the water too, you know, and then there's things I want to teach those kids.
The lineage of some fishing families extends even further. Salmon nourished the region's Native American communities for thousands of years. While much of that biological abundance is gone, a rich cultural heritage endures.
If it was just about something to eat, you could just go to the grocery store. It's not that at all. It's being out here and working hard, staying with the customs and traditions as much as you can in this world. It's not just fish.
For most of their life, salmon travel the North Pacific, foraging the ocean's rich food supplies. When a mysterious inner signal draws them back to the coast, they gather at the mouths of their respective home rivers before turning upstream. They come in waves, obsessively seeking the streams, often the very gravel beds where they were born.
There were major salmon runs 12 months out of the year. As soon as the spring Chinook were done, the summer Chinook were there, then the fall Chinook, then the winter cohos, then the steelhead. It was a never-ending highway of salmon.
They would come in such great numbers that they changed the chemistry of the water. It's this orgy of abundance.
For some, home is the coastal rainforest. For others, it's a high desert canyon. And for Idaho's endangered sockeye, home is deep in the continent's rugged alpine interior. Past 8 giant dams, countless false turns,